Hello, welcome to the Path of Consorts. I'm Taki'h.
And I'm Timo.
So this is our fourth part on a five-part series about fighting and how to avoid fighting. One of the things that people are amazed about in our relating is that we don't fight and we haven't fought, not once. So how do we do that? So there's 3 videos that we've already shared a lot of information about and tips. And in this one, we'd like to focus on the need for regular maintenance, emotional hygiene. So just like you take a shower, and you brush your teeth and you do like physical hygiene on a regular basis, emotional hygiene is also needed. This is a way of looking at that. In previous videos, we shared about not accumulating stamps between the relating, and this is how you don't accumulate stuff in you. So that means you process yourself emotionally. You let that energy move and whatever you didn't catch in that moment. So as you'll notice that these videos progress, that like, okay, if I've entered into this, if I miss that, then what? And if I miss that, then what? If I miss that, then what? So if I've accumulated some stamps, or if I haven't expressed my needs and my truths, if I've clung onto who needs to be right instead of staying connected, if you know I've actually done those things, then what else can I do? So emotional hygiene. This is something that even if you're not in a relationship, you should do. In my opinion, it's just basics, just like brushing the teeth. But especially if you're in a relationship, because that relationship will bring stuff up. Of course, it will, and that's the beauty of it. The relationship brings stuff up because it's safe enough. There's enough love. There's enough trust that the stuff can come up, and it's coming up so that it can be healed, so you can be freed, so that it can be attended to, so that it can come back home. So that's great. Great news. And if you don't do emotional hygiene, if you don't process yourself, then it's just going to explode in your face and lead into a fight, because it looks like actually this is like the gunk, the yucky stuff that's coming up because he or she has done this or that or whatever. Not the case. So emotional hygiene, when I realize that something's coming up, then I go and attend to it. It's not my partner's responsibility to tell me to do so. It's not my partner's responsibility to take care of it for me, to process me. It's my responsibility. So how do I know that something's coming up? So this is where we usually miss. This is where a missed opportunity usually happens, that we don't recognize that we need to attend to ourselves. So we already spoke about the low level of angers, how to recognize those things. And now let's assume that you are able to now recognize through physical sensations or through some other indicator in your being that, okay, something's coming up. So, for example,
Yeah, how it works in my system is that I start to feel this like numbness. I feel I'm stuck, and just basically a joy of of life starts to fade, and it's a gradual progress. So I still sometimes miss when it starts, and then it has accumulated for some time when I realized that, okay, I need to do something about this, and that how it is for me. It's still harder for me to catch it when I'm alone and when she's traveling, when we're not together. So it's easier to dismiss it, easier to like, okay, I'll do some other stuff, I'll do some fun stuff to cheer myself up, when actually I can't really cheer myself up when there's something is cooking in me that hasn't been released.
right. And so for me, because I've worked with this for quite a long time now, and I used to not be at all in touch with my emotions. I had no idea what was running through me, and so I had to learn. I had to learn my body's language and the language of emotions, and to recognize it and to name it, and then to do something about it. And so I'll get the messages from my body that like I'm simmering, or there's a buzz, or there's a contraction, there's a tightness, or there's a lump, or there's a uh, something, something will let me know in my being, in my body, uh, or in the thoughts that start to come in that I'm thinking like or whether it's fear or that's anger or sadness or these thoughts that are pointing me in that direction like maybe I need to go and process myself. So what does that mean to process yourself? It's to allow yourself to feel whatever is there. So it's not like I'm wanting it to go away. If I'm coming from that space, then I'm not really embracing my emotions. And then anytime that they come up, I see them as a burden or I see them as like a failure, a fuck up, that this again and that. No, I'm embracing them and saying, okay, this is what's real, this is what's alive, this is the truth of this moment. Let me go into it. Let me just feel it. Let me cry. Let me bang pillows. Let me scream into a pillow. Let me shake. Let me punch the air. Or if I have a punch bag, like a boxing bag or whatever, let me go through whatever is real in that moment so that it can pass through me. So if like you think of like a hose and you turn on the water, but at the end of the hose there's some kind of lock or stomper, then that water just stays stuck. There's nothing, nowhere it can go. So it's about releasing that plug so that it can just flow. And it just flows, but it needs to flow. It can't just magically disappear and go from here to here. So you need to actually feel it and without judgment and without trying to reject anything, and to just recognize that yeah, this stuff is coming up, and irregardless, yes, I'm still connected. I want to stay connected. Yes, I'm clearing and clarifying. Yes, I'm taking responsibility. Yes, I'm gonna name my needs and my truth. I'm doing all those things. And there's still anger, or there's fear, or there's terror, or there's grief, and there's pain. Perfectly fine. These are not like signs that you're doing something wrong. It's just natural emotions, and they need, just like you need to brush your teeth. It doesn't mean that you ate crap. It just means you need to brush your teeth every day. And so it's like that I need to process myself and I need to allow my emotions to come through. If I don't allow them in that moment to be fully expressed, then they will start to accumulate, and that will again lead to sensitivity, disconnection, either numbness or hypersensitivity, and disconnection between you and your partner, within yourself first, of course, then between the two of you, and uh, fighting will be much easier, of course.
And what I have found out is that when I have gotten to that state that I really need to release something, it's not worth trying to stay with her and to dismiss it because I don't want to take the hour or half an hour that it takes me to process. And I still struggle that with sometimes that I don't want to take that time away, but actually wasting time staying there and not processing them, and then because coming back after I have processed them, it is so much better.
Yeah, and so like when he tries to stay there with me, it's actually wasted time because there's no intimacy that's possible, because this is still simmering or whatever, even if it's understood in the mind, even if it's spoken about, even if okay, it's resolved, but the body needs to go through its thing, and the emotions need to have their, the water needs to go through the hose. So give that space regularly, and it doesn't even have to be that something is triggered. Maybe it's just like, yeah, I'm just feeling a contracted, or let me go and do some shaking, or let me go and just move and growl and howl and yeah, bite into something, or just like with your claws, is it rip at something and see, what is it, what's dampening my aliveness.
Yeah. And for me sometimes it's enough that the emotions come when I just allow them, and I just scream a bit pillows, but sometimes it needs more. So what has been my like 100% works is the chakra breath. So it's an Osho meditation, dynamic meditation of breathing through the chakras, and that really connects to the feelings. It's a very beautiful practice. For me, it works 100%.
Sure. So Osho Chakra Breath is something that I recommend to everybody. It's my number one go-to for processing, cleansing, just moving through emotions, so emotional hygiene. And everybody can do it anywhere. Like it's you can do it. So you can find the music online on Spotify, I believe, and download it. And it comes with instructions and guidance. And you're just breathing through, and you just allow whatever comes, and emotions come, or sounds come, or whatever else comes. Fine, and then you keep breathing. And you breathe really really alive, and so that it bypasses the mind of like, okay, I'm still can stay in my mind, and you're really in the body, and the physical body and emotional body.
Yeah, and after that, only I can see after how good I feel after that. It's easier to reflect where I was before it. So I've been keeping it, my mental mind, that this, even if I don't, I'm not resisting doing it, I remember that it works.
Yes, because there will be resistance. And so I have another video on that, on the addiction and why the resistance. But yes, there will be resistance, and to just recognize it for what it is, resistance. It's not necessarily the healthy way. It's not what will prevent you or hold you back from disconnection, fighting, and less intimacy. It's resistance. So you face resistance and you go through what you need to go through. Another Osho meditation, active meditation, is dynamic meditation. That's not always possible, but if you use pillow to scream into, and you know that you're not like stomping if you have neighbors underneath you and things, you can. Everybody can still do it in the privacy of their own home. So these are two resources that you can use for emotional hygiene, and it's the the quality of your relating. And it's this is what my teacher said to me, because my favorite line was, I understand. So my teacher Akash in India at one point said, stop, please stop understanding, because I would try to deal with emotional stuff by understanding it and not feeling it or processing it. It's like, stop understanding, feel, just stop understanding. So if you're one of those people like I was, that wants to try to figure it out, understand it, or maybe you're somebody who just dismisses it and it's like, oh, I don't want to go into that, or like I don't see the value or the importance. Highly important. If you do not do regular emotional hygiene, you will fight. Um, and what's regular is up to whatever your system needs. I used to need much more frequent emotional hygiene, like almost on a daily basis. At some point, I even went through daily basis as a practice for myself, and now I needed less than that. And sometimes I have spurts where I need it for several days in a row, and so forth. You need to be honest with yourself about how often you need it. And just because your partner is going into the other room and going to do chakra breath, or going to go and shake for half an hour, or beat pillows for 15 minutes or whatever, scream, don't take it personally. Go back to that video. It's like, be thankful that your partner is willing and able to do that. And even if you're like, but everything's fine and we're so in love and this and that. Yeah. And in those moments, the harder stuff comes up. So be grateful for that. Thank you for joining us today. Hope this supports you. And next will be the last and fifth part of this series. See you there. Hi, just a quick addition that we forgot to mention for this video is that it doesn't only have to be the frustrations or the triggers that come from the relationship. And we focused a lot on that in the video, but it can just be that you have frustrations or triggers from the work, or from the kids, or from what's happening in the politics, or global warming, or whatever is creating angst in you or bringing stuff up in you. And that will inevitably feed into sensitivity and disconnection. in the relationship and therefore fighting. So to avoid that, even if it's not something that's triggered in the relationship, that if something that's alive in you that needs processing, process it. Doesn't matter where it comes from.
Yeah, and also there's a disconnection, if there's a disconnection within myself from my feelings. So that's a great way also to come back to my own feelings.
Thank you. That was just a PS.